We have human rights lawyer Festus Onifade joining us now in the studio. So much to unpack tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight. Let's begin with the Gombe arrests, based on the governor's directive, Governor Muhammad Yahaya, to arrest people in the nightclubs. According to him, they are linked with criminality and what have you. First off, is he empowered by law to carry out such directive, and is it right to, arrest people in nightclubs based on these allegations?
So clearly, we must segment all the issues involved.
Right.
There is the issue of arrest. Mm-hmm. There is the issue of closure of those nightclubs. Let's start with the issue of arrest. Arrest. You are not just arresting alone. What follows arrest? Are you arresting to keep? Are you arresting? What are you arresting for? So what I think the governor wanted to do is to arrest and prosecute. And the law is clear. Can you prosecute a person for an unknown offense? The law is clear. For you to prosecute, for you to arrest, there must be a known offense under the law that the person has contravened. So the question that we'll ask ourselves is, does going to a nightclub constitute an offense? Does owning a nightclub constitute an offense? And if it constitutes an offense, what are those offenses those gentlemen have breached? So those are the first questions. And we all know, it's a common knowledge. The law is clear on that. Section 36, sub 12 of the Constitution says you cannot penalize anybody for an unknown offense. The offense must be known to the law and the penalty prescribed there.
Okay.
Yes, and we have several case laws. Aoko versus Fagbemi, AGF versus Clement Usong. So the law are clear. If you are arresting somebody and you intend to prosecute, he must have contravened a known offense. So what are the offenses?
Now that takes us to Delta State, where the homosexuals were rounded up at a wedding event. You want to look at that. We know that homosexuality is an offense in Nigeria, but yet again, had they concluded investigations before rounding them up?
So just to land on the earlier question one more time. Yeah. So let me also say this, that it's very important that the governor, Mohammed Inoua, should have a rethink. In this austerity period, you can't be closing down means of people's livelihood. It's clearly inappropriate. So let's also move forward to the issue of Delta State. Yeah. And we all know that in Nigeria, the issue of parading suspects has become a protracted issue. We've shouted, we've talked, we've raised issues. Human Rights Commission have raised these issues. We have made advocacy on these issues severally. But the agencies, security agencies, they will not desist. They keep doing these acts over and over again. So you breach the suspects' right to presumptions of innocence. You also breach their right to dignity, the dignity of persons. If you go and parade an individual that at the time you are parading him, you have not concluded the investigation, what's the aim of your parade?
Well, the police, as far as this particular matter is concerned, actually says it has, it's empowered under the Police Act 2020 to parade suspects in the media. And of course, there's the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. Do they align? What does this particular Police Act say?
Let me tell you in clear terms. As a matter of fact, some states of the Federation have clearly outlawed the issue of parading suspects. Lagos State have clearly outlawed parading of suspects. You cannot. So I don't know, apart from Lagos, a few other states have outlawed parading of suspects. So we have to ask ourselves, let's put the Police Act they say they are relying on, put it side by side by the Constitution. Of course, we know that act, whatever provisions they are relying on, will crumble. Section 1 sub 3 of the Constitution is clear about every other law that is contravened, that goes head to head with the Constitution will fall.
Right.
So they clearly they can't hold on to that. The right to their dignity, the presumption of innocence of those suspects should be upheld.
Yet again, the National Human Rights Commission had an event, a dialogue on the sideline of the 63rd annual conference of the NBA, and I was present, and I was shocked when I heard that 95% of the people in jail today in Nigeria are still awaiting trial.
Of course,
that broke my heart. Is your heart broken tonight at this news?
I think my heart is shattered, and we all know. Is incomprehensible that at this age and time in Nigeria, more than half of the people in custody are awaiting trials, in correctional service. More than half of them, they are awaiting trials. What's responsible for it? We all know the problem. Slow mechanism in our judicial system, lack of proper investigation, so many other issues. In fact, the facility themselves, they are overdue for overhaul. Go and check when those prisons were built. Go and check. We were doing a study in one of the organizations we belong to. We were doing a study. More than 95% of our prisons are about 80 to 100 years old. More than. Go to Suleja prisons. Go to Kefi prison. The only new prison around us is Kuje prison, maybe about 20 to 30 years ago. So virtually all the prisons are old and dilapidated.
So how do we remedy these things? Whether on the issue of human rights violations, I mean, they were talking about the effective remedy. How do you, even guarantee that? How do you ensure that that happens? And on the case of these people that are being paraded, can they even sue the security agencies?
Of course. There are several cases. There is a case of AGF versus Umba, which a gentleman went to court and sued the IGP, and sued the police, asking the police to pay for those infractions. And so if any one of them feels strongly aggrieved, they can go to court. And the court will clearly uphold their rights. At the time which you arrest a suspect, it is presumed that you have concluded your investigation before you begin to put him out. And the question is also clear. When you put people out, what's the aim of you putting them out? So you subject them to unnecessary media trials, public ridicule, when at the end of the day, they could be exculpated from those offenses from the court.
Absolutely.
So what are the basis of you doing a media trial? So it's clearly unacceptable as a pattern which we are forming in all the states of the Federation. Every state, all our police commissioners, or state security agencies, not just police alone.
So not just
DSS, customs,
NAFDAC,
several others.
Thank you very much.
You arrest a suspect, you take him to the press.
I needed to quickly ask in 30 seconds, is cross-dressing a crime in Nigeria?
Okay, so if you look at the Same-Sex Prohibition Act 2013, the law prohibits a number of things, gathering together, witnessing those marriages. If you go to witness, you are caught, 10 years can be slammed on you.
Now you just attended the wedding.
You just attended, you cannot. In fact, if you conduct the marriage, the marriage should not be conducted in church, in mosques, or any other places. And so if you dress in or you show amorous affection to a same-sex person, you can be guilty under that act.
Festus Onifade, thank you very much indeed, human rights lawyer, for coming to Newsnight.